Ooh, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Take your character in this play. I mean, who shaped it? The script told you something.
Well, the script and the costumes, the wig, I mean, the whole thing. When you walk around like that, you're bound to feel a bit different.
From a different age.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly, except that I'm frequently in those sort of clothes.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, because of the kinds of roles you accept.
Yes.
You're much more
I mean, in
comfortable.
actual fact, I wear, in this film, I wear a blouse that I wore in Tea with Mussolini. So there you go.
Speaking of directors, how was that?
Tea with Mussolini, it was completely different.
There is a difference in all
There is a
Zeffirelli?
difference. But I've worked with Franco in the theatre too, so
Yeah.
it was good. It was a really good time to work with those friends too.
Is this the best time for you? I mean, you've had this remarkable, enduring career. You've been a part of stage and you've been a part of films, lots of supporting roles. You continue to flourish. There's been hardly a time, he says, that you've been out of work.
Well, I have been. Obviously, I have been.
But not long.
Not long.
And you pretty much worked when you wanted to.
Yeah. No. Well,
And you work a lot.
Yes, that's true. I do. But it's a very curious thing because I don't, in any shape or form, kind of shape a career, as it were. I mean, I tend to do what comes along. I can't say that I sit down and have a lot of scripts to worry about. That isn't true. So if a script comes along, I think, oh yeah, that's great, came in the nick of time. Because each time you finish a job, you're convinced you'll never work again.
Why is that? Is that an actor's insecurity?
I think so. I mean, you just think, well, that's that. That's nothing else will happen now.
Have you been ambitious about acting, not about career, but ambitious about acting? Wanting to constantly stretch and find and figure out how you could push the edges of your talent?
I think so, but I think I've kind of abandoned that now. Now I mean, this is why it's wonderful to be able to do films, because in actual fact, if it were just the theatre I were doing, there's a limit to what parts you can play. I know women are always moaning on about this, but it is true. So you develop into what are now left of the grotesques, which is what I call them, you know. So you've got the Lady Bracknells and the Lady Wishforts and all those people, and then you're kind of left. But as long as there are sort of parts in films like this, it's wonderful.
Now, you take two things that you're in right now, Gosford Park and Harry Potter. You're now filming the second one. Just talk to me about those two kinds of roles for you.
Well, they're different, I suppose. I mean, I always regard the Harry Potter like kind of an aging Miss Jean Brodie. She just feels a bit like that, because I've made her from Edinburgh, which I think is right.
An aging Miss Jean Brodie.
Well, yes, but sort of a mad Jean Brodie could easily have been Professor McGonagall.
But here is a film with all the attendant publicity, more than any movie has gotten in a long time. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I mean, Warner Brothers unleashed their apparatus, AOL Time Warner.
That's true, but all it's what it's done for me is sort of, I'm now regarded like the Queen Mother when I go home to the square that I live in London, and all these children come out.
What do they say?
And looking at, well, they sort of do vague things like waving at me, and I think they think I'm going to, you know, get a wand up and do something very peculiar.
We made it. Can you imagine the look on McGonagall's face if we were late? That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley. Perhaps it would be more useful if I were to transfigure Mr. Potter and yourself into a pocket watch. That way one of you might be on time.
We got lost.
Then perhaps a map.
There's a sort of pervasive impact on people of all ages.
Well, yes, I suppose so, but it's the children I like to see most, because they really do slow double takes.
Do they say anything?
Have I seen that? No, they just look
Stare.
a bit thunderstruck. They look a bit startled.
Right.
So I think yes.
There she
Don't like
is.
the idea of her living
Well,
next door but one. I don't know. It's quite nice.
It's quite nice.
Yes, it is. It's nice to think that all these sort of very small people are all hurtling to the cinema,
See, what's
as well
quite-
as reading the books.
What's quite nice about having you say that, too, is that we sometimes, looking from afar, those of us in the audience see you and you say, she's this sort of great English actor, you know?
I don't know why you'd say that.
Well, because of the roles you've been in, you know, and here we know that you are in this hugely popular commercial film, having such a good time and enjoying with great glee
Well,
the results of it.
oh yeah, well, that's great.
And that's great.
That is.
I mean, it's a humanizing side of Maggie Smith.
Oh, I didn't know it was inhuman, the other side. But it's nice to know.
A humanizing side.
Yes, right.
You know? It is.
But I've enjoyed doing that because I like Dan, who plays Harry Potter. I'd worked with before Harry Potter, which was strange because he was.
Where did you work with him?
We did David Copperfield on television.
Oh.
And he was so enchanting, and I was so thrilled when he got the part. So was he, I think.
I'm sure, because he'll be a very rich young man.
Delighted. But it was lovely, and he's a very, very nice boy.
Have you seen, I mean, on the one hand you have Harry Potter, and then on the other hand you have Gosford, which is really, which is, in a sense, as good as it gets for you in terms of acting, because you're acting with great colleagues, and a great director you've wanted to work with, and a good story, and.
Well, it was a terrific experience, Gosford Park, and I'm just so excited about what's happened to it. I mean, that's...
It was almost, you know, he worried about getting it made, and now...
I know, that's what's so astonishing. He's doing another film too, Bob, but I'm hardly speaking to him because he says there's no part in it.
You're not speaking to him
No,
about that.
I don't think anybody will be speaking to him.
If you weren't, if you were in Gosford and not in his new film, then shame on Bob.
Exactly.
That's how we feel about Bob Altman, isn't it?
True.
Are there any roles that you have wanted to play for a while, that, you know, for a long time, that you haven't done?
No, I'm often asked that, and I never kind of...
There's no...
I've never seen myself in any particular role. You know, I've never thought I've got to play this part or that. I kind of leave it to other people to cast me. I've never been obsessed by playing a certain part.
Are you obsessed by certain playwrights?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, Shakespeare, you weren't out to... You ever had a...
Shakespeare was never my kind of line.
Really?
I preferred the George Farkas and the Congreves and things like that, the Restoration comedies. And
Why is that?
because I just love the language of that, and I love the fact that they're funny. I don't think I'm a kind of, well, I know I'm not a Shakespearean actress.
In the same way that your good friend Judi Dench
No,
is.
no way at all. No, Jude is a solid actress in all categories, in fact.
Yeah.
You couldn't say she was a Shakespearean or what. She's all of them, you know.
Well, how close are you two?
We're very close. I mean, we started together in at the Old Vic, when it was the Old Vic, before it was the National.
Yeah.
And Jude was always playing, she was playing Phoebes and things like that in As You Like It. And all those sort of parts, you know.
And you became friends, and...
Yeah. We were in a dressing room together.
Do you talk about acting?
Not a lot, no. We talk about the terrors of it, I think, or...
You talk about what?
The terror of it.
The terror of acting. Is it terror?
It can be really frightening. It can be really frightening. And it's also, it's a grind.
I know it's a grind, but
You
why
know
is
it's
it...
a grind. It
Why is it frightening for someone
Because
who...
it's a fright,
If
it
it's
is
frightening for
scary.
you, my God, I mean, who's done everything you've done?
I think, well, it's what I was saying before, I think it gets more frightening. It starts off being a breeze, you think. You get frightfully kind of
Yeah.
hoity-toity about it. Well, it's perfectly
And
right.
you say it gets
Learn
harder
lines.
rather than easier.
Yeah, of course it does. It gets harder to learn the wretched thing. Each thing is harder because you are aware of all the problems of it, and that it isn't as easy as you thought it was.
And you've seen a lot more, so you know
Yeah.
what's